Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right into it. Today, we're talking about a massive demographic shift that's been quietly building for about a decade now. Specifically, we're going to unpack why a deeply ingrained marketing assumption in the senior living industry is currently, and very quietly, costing communities crucial move-ins every single month. We're going to look closely at who is actually reaching out to your communities and why your current messaging might literally be turning them away before they ever even book a tour. Section 1. The outdated marketing assumption. Okay, so for years, the senior living industry has basically operated on this one almost unquestioned premise. The firm belief that the person making the decisions, the one researching and scheduling senior care tours, is always the adult daughter. And usually the marketing assumes she's in her 50s. She's pictured as the one doing all the heavy lifting, comparing the options, managing the family dynamics, and making those initial hesitant calls to your sales team. Now, let me be clear, she's entirely real, she absolutely exists, and she definitely calls. But here's the catch. She is no longer the only one making these critical, life-changing calls for aging parents. When we build our entire marketing ecosystem around just her, we leave a massive gap. Section 2. The data-driven reality. When we actually pull the hard data from trusted, authoritative sources like AARP and the National Alliance for Caregiving, the demographic reality is crystal clear. While female caregivers still make up the majority at 60%, a massive, undeniable portion of today's family caregivers are actually men. We're looking at a 60-40 split here, which is a far cry from that 100% female assumption that drives most senior living brochures and website copy. Right, so the really crucial point here is this staggering statistic. 40%. This isn't just some fringe minority, this is nearly half your audience. What this means in real-world terms is that if your community's marketing strictly targets the adult daughter, you're creating what we call invisible friction. You are essentially putting up a barrier for nearly half of your potential market. Just think about that. Every time a man lands on your website and only sees language speaking to daughters, he suddenly feels like, well, maybe your community just isn't the right fit for his family's situation. Section 3. The invisible caregivers. Let's look at exactly who these guys are in your local markets right now. First, consider the son. Picture this incredibly common scenario. He just got a panicked phone call, dropped everything at work, and flew across the country because his father had a severe fall. He's sitting in a hospital cafeteria or rehab center right now, facing an incredibly stressful 48-hour window to make a massive, life-changing care decision. He's stressed out, he's rushed, and he's researching communities on his smartphone as we speak. Next up is the husband. He is heavily burdened both physically and emotionally as he tries to manage his wife's heartbreaking transition into memory care. He's been her primary caregiver for years, and he is just reaching a breaking point. He's looking for deep expertise, reassurance, and a community that speaks directly to the unique, really devastating struggles of losing a spouse to cognitive decline, not messaging aimed at adult children. And finally, consider the brother. He stepped up as the primary family contact simply because geography or specific family circumstances put him in that role. Maybe his sisters live overseas, or maybe he just lives 5 miles down the road from their parents. These men are real people in your market. They're making the calls, they're taking the tours, and yet most senior living marketing is completely silent to them. Major industry players? Well, they're already acting on this, and they're doing it publicly. For example, Atria Senior Living, which, as you probably know, is one of the largest operators in the entire country, announced back in June 2026 that they are explicitly redesigning their marketing campaigns to include these male caregivers. When the biggest players shift their foundational strategies based on data, it's a glaring signal that the rest of the industry needs to pay attention, or you really risk being left behind. Section 4. The Inclusion Update Playbook. Recognizing the problem is only half the battle, right? But you can easily adapt to this shift across all your marketing channels by implementing these 4 key steps. Number 1, audit your visuals. You need photos that show a wide range of diverse family configurations: fathers and sons, husbands caring for wives, brothers navigating a tour. Number 2, evaluate your copy. It should really default to neutral language when referring to unnamed family members, instead of constantly leaning on she or daughter. Number 3, rethink your admissions training. Your sales team should be opening initial conversations with curious, open-ended questions, rather than just making immediate assumptions about who is on the other end of the phone. And finally, number 4, ensure your follow-up email and text sequences are highly adaptable to the specific caregiver situation. Whether it's the frantic son with a 48-hour window or the exhausted husband seeking memory care, your messaging needs to fit. Section 5. Auditing your growth system. At silvercore.io, conducting a deep messaging audit like this is a core part of systematically analyzing who is calling, who's actually moving in, and who is quietly slipping away. So I'll leave you with this provocative question to ponder today. Where is your messaging creating invisible friction right now? Take a really hard look at your website, your brochures, and your ad copy today. Are you accidentally turning away 40% of your market? To dive deeper into this and see exactly how a messaging audit works in practice, I highly encourage you to visit silvercore.io to book a call or watch a demo. And be sure to catch our next explainer, where we're going to reveal how the 24 hours immediately following a missed call completely determines if you recover that lead or lose them to a competitor. Thank you so much for joining me today, and happy auditing.